If you have your Bibles on you, please turn to Hosea chapter 11. Hosea chapter 11. We'll be in verses 1 through 9. So Hosea chapter 11, verses 1 and 9 through 9. It begins, "When Israel was a youth, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. But the more they were called, the more they went away. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and burning incense to idols. Yet it is I who taught Ephraim to walk. I took them in my arms, but they did not know that I healed them. I led them with cords of man, with bonds of love, and I became to them as one who lifts the yoke from their jaws, and I bent down and fed them." And we'll stop there. So what we just read is a depiction of God's relationship with Israel from God's perspective, right? God has blessed them. He has healed them. He has walked with them. He has shown them this fatherly example through their entire walk. And yet their response is turning away. They turn to idols. They turn to disobedience. And disobedience is a result of selfishness, right? I want what I want, God. I want your blessings, but when times get tough, I'm going to turn away and do and worship what I can see, what I can, to an extent, control. And Israel had run away from God and what he had to offer them. And God had tried to get their attention so many times, and they would come back for a while, but then, again, they would disobey him, and they would fall away and turn away. What I want to talk about this morning is how, like a father is faithful to his son, so God is faithful to his children, even when they turn away, even when they disobey. Let's pick up reading again. Verses 5 through 7 says, "They will not return to the land of Egypt, but Assyria will be there. But Assyria, he will be their king, because they refuse to return to me. The sword will whirl against their cities and will demolish their gate bars and consume them because of their counsels. So my people are bent on turning from me. Though they call them to the one on high, none at all exalts him." Wow. So because of Israel's disobedience and because of their lack of trust and faithfulness in God, God is saying, this is what I want to do to you. I want to destroy. He is so upset and is affected whenever we disobey him. God is not just up in heaven whenever we sin thinking, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. He's affected. And there is forgiveness. But we should not ignore the fact that God is also a just God, a powerful God. He is not just a punching bag that we can hit a bunch of times and it won't resist. It won't do anything back. God is huge. He is big. He is powerful. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. God is pretty scary. But that's a good thing. Because God is with you. And that powerful God who can destroy an entire nation wants you to be with him. He is fighting for you, pushing for you constantly so that you can come to him. But sometimes we fall away. And sometimes that means disaster. Most of the time, actually all the time, every time we sin, it means disaster. Maybe you messed up at work, you got fired. Maybe you messed up at home, you got punished. But whatever it was, sin always affects people around us. And it definitely affects God. God is not just up in heaven. He's not just looking down from a faraway distance, not interfering. He is huge. But let's look at verses 8 through 9. It says, "How can I give you up, O Ephraim? How can I surrender you, O Israel? How can I make you like Agma, and how can I treat you like Zeboim? My heart is turned over within me. All my compassions are kindled. I will not execute my fierce anger. I will not destroy Ephraim again, for I am God and not man, the Holy One in your midst, and I will not come in wrath. Wow. That's powerful. God is showing his compassion in these verses. Because, yeah, he is a just God, but he's also a compassionate God. And he doesn't delight in destroying people. Oftentimes we can also get this idea of God that he just wants to send everyone to hell, and he's this big, mean bully. But he's not. He is a loving God, a just God, who wants you to be with him. He has not given up on you. The fact that you're here this morning is proof he is not done with you. Maybe you're thinking yesterday was hard. Last week was hard. Last year was hard. But God has not given up on you today. He is not done with you. You still have a purpose. You still have a place in this world. Why does God not punish Israel? He says, for I am God and not man. When you punch someone in the face, let's say your best friend, you punch them in the face. What's their immediate reaction going to be? Punch you back, right? Even the playing field. Get revenge. But God says, no, I'm not like that. I'm not like everyone else. I'm different, and I will not destroy you. I will show you punishment, but I will not absolutely destroy you. For I am God. I am the Holy One in your midst, and I'm with you. So this morning, if maybe you're going through a distant relationship with God, where you're not completely invested in him, let me tell you something. God is completely invested in you. The theme of life ever since Adam and Eve has been the pursuit of God from man and God's pursuit of man, and building that bridge back together. It was us who fell. It was us who made the mistake. It was us who betrayed God in the beginning. And God had every right to say, I'm done. That's it. And he did flood the entire earth, but he spared Noah and his family because of their righteousness. God sees your righteousness. So if you are living in a distant relationship with him, I'll say it again. Like a father is faithful to his child, so God is faithful to us even when we are not faithful